Today's review is of Get Good with Money by Tiffany Aliche, who is more well known by her title, The Budgetnista. Our presenter today is Shamika Fusco, RPL librarian and Lyle Branch supervisor. Shamika loves to read nonfiction material that can help her improve her life and the lives of others. It is a special privilege for FFRPL to have Shamika present today's review for our legacy program, Books Sandwiched In, because as many of you already know, BSI is one of our most popular programs, and it's been running continuously since 1956. It is one of our success stories, and we are proud to stand behind it. Similarly, Shamika is one of the true success stories of FFRPL and the Rochester Public Library. She herself credits the Boys and Girls Club, as well as mentoring and job opportunities she received from Derek Coley, founding coordinator of the library's flagship after-school program, Safe to be Smart, for inspiring her to go to college and then to pursue her Master of Library Science. Derek has always been in my corner, says Shamika. Starting off as a literacy aide, I jumped on the Safe to be Smart bandwagon, and I had a great time facilitating relationships with youth. As we note the 20th anniversary of the Safe to be Smart program this fall, along with Derek Coley's own 20th anniversary with the program, this is one of the many important library stories about role models that needs to be told. Watching Shamika so fervently pay it forward reminds us all why we are so committed to the Rochester Public Library. And you could hear Shamika's library story in her own words on our website, ffrpl.org. Please join me in welcoming RPL's own Shamika Fusco to the podium.
Well, thank you for that introduction. I did not know you were going to sneak that information in, so that's an honor, definitely. So let's go ahead and dig in and Get Good with Money by Tiffany Aliche. So once again, I'm Shamika Fusco. She gave me that awesome introduction, and I can't tell you or where to begin to tell you how much I love libraries. You obviously love them too because you're here. I wish I had known as a kid to be more involved with libraries, but it's just as enjoyable as an adult, so here I am. I'm the Lyle Branch supervisor, and I am the adult service librarian, so I've had the opportunity to work with youth, children, and now adults. As an adult, I feel like, hey, I can actually connect with adults, so let's do adulting for a change. My youngest daughter is 14 and my oldest is 19, so I figured I'll have an empty nest within the next couple of years, so let's start adulting and be more around adults. All right, so in the beginning of Tiffany Aliche's book, which just hit the ground running for me, she comes across a situation where she has to choose between ice cream and water. And you're like, why would somebody have to choose between ice cream or water? Well, as a kid, Tiffany had an infatuation with water. She loved to turn water on in every faucet of the house and just let the water run. But she also she came from a semi-big family. She had like 4 siblings, and they would have a designated ice cream day. And on that day that it was her turn to get ice cream, she was confronted by her father and was told that she couldn't get ice cream because earlier that day, she decided that she wanted to run the faucets all day long. So he tells her in his Nigerian voice, "Adoche, I'm sorry, the waterman came. He took your ice cream money." And she's like, "What? He took my ice cream money?" She's like, yeah, he took your ice cream money. And she just couldn't understand that process. So she got her first lesson in how, money has a purpose and money has value, and you can't just turn on the water and expect the water to not be paid. So I definitely wanted to include that story because it's something that I try to teach my daughter too as well. Turn the lights off, close the refrigerator. Like, you're letting the hot outside. That's what my grandfather used to say. You're letting the heat go outside, So that was an intriguing story that I definitely wanted to include in the presentation. So also in the beginning of the book, we also noticed that Tiffany has a lot of unforeseen circumstances that she deals with. She's laid off in the recession. She's a preschool teacher, and she thinks that that's a recession-proof job, but it's not. Unfortunately, who she was employed by, the government funding was not able to fund her job, so she was laid off. She eventually becomes scammed by JTT, which is like Jack the Thief. He convinces her that a small, also known as a big money investment, will yield her more money. So she makes the wrong choice by investing with him and loses her money. She also makes bad investments by, I wouldn't say bad investments, but she makes the choice to invest in a business training that kind of helped her, but it probably wasn't worth $15,000. So she ends up paying that. And then she becomes homeless in a sense, meaning she has to move back home with her parents. So she's not out on the streets, but in order to become more financially stable, she actually has to move back in with her parents. Can everyone hear me? You doing good? Okay, excellent. Just want to make sure, okay? No, that's fine. I just want to make sure that I'm, speaking loud enough for you. So as a result of all these unforeseen circumstances, she gets her life back in order, and she overcomes. She begins volunteering at the United Way and teaching financial literacy classes. She starts a Facebook online community. She gets over 10,000 women to sign up for the Live Richer Challenge. She creates a Dreamcatchers Facebook group. She also has a Brown Ambition podcast that I try to listen to in my downtime. She is one of the only, I believe, African-American women that has been featured on the cover solely on the Money magazine. She's also New York Times bestseller for Get Good with Money, which is the book that we're reviewing today. So, Tiffany's basic underlying principles for becoming financially whole comes with 10 steps, and we'll basically go through those. We will just kind of do a general overview, and we won't dig too deep because we assume you either A, read the book, or B, are going to want to read the book, okay? So 10 steps for becoming financially whole, Budgetnista style. So the first step, which is 10% whole, we discover in this chapter that the first step to becoming financially whole is to build a budget and automate it. It's time to take control of your budget. Think of this as your plan to take steps towards your dreams. A budget is a great tool to help lay down the groundwork to your fantastic future. Tiffany says, budgets don't grow money, they manage them. The plan, to learn how to create, maintain, and at least partially automate your budget. Now, the do. This is what the budgeting looks like. You're going to make a money in list. That's talking about all the money that comes into the household through every avenue, through your jobs, through your side hustles, through investing, whatever it is. Any type of money that you get will be coming in on the make a money list. And then you're going to make a money out list, and these are all of the bills that you have to pay. You'll calculate how much expenses cost monthly. You'll also calculate the beginning of your monthly savings. While you're doing the money in versus the money out, you'll sometimes realize that your money out and your money in is not matching. Either A, you actually do have a savings, but you don't see any of it at all, or B, you do have a savings and it's just there, but it's not really doing anything. So you'll also be assigning what is called control categories. You'll be determining whether things are bills or utilities or cash expenses. Cash expenses are things like going out to eat, buying toiletries, things of that nature. You'll also want to reduce your expenses as needed and look for ways to increase your income. Then you'll separate your funds by either having multiple checkings or savings accounts, and you want to get automated. I'm definitely learning to do this. I love financial literacy, and it's been an ongoing journey for me. I've been doing it for years, and every day I find out something new or a better way to do things. I follow Dave Ramsey, I follow Tiffany Aliche, and I just kind of find methods that work best for me. Dave Ramsey has a really cool website called everydollar.com where you can use an app where you can track everything that you do. You can use the free version, which is what I use, or you can use the paid version. Once again, that website is everydollar.com, and I love it. It's the Dave Ramsey approach. Some people think that Dave Ramsey is a little aggressive, but you take what you can. You take what you want, and you do whatever it is that you like. All right, step 2 is going to be 20% whole. And this is the chapter where you're going to get good at savings because it's for protection. Savings are not only for a rainy day, but they really fuel your future. They allow tragedies to be less tragic, but most importantly, it allows you to save money to make money as well. The plan. To learn how to create a savings plan that protects you in case of an emergency and helps to fuel your personal goals. Like if you want to buy a house, you want to buy a car, you want to travel, you want to invest, or you just want to get that cute little handbag. Now, the do. Tiffany refers to the squirrel often in this chapter. She says, in New Jersey, squirrels are everywhere. And you'll see in the fall, early winter, that they're just ravaging around trying to find nuts and store them away for the winter. They're storing away for when abundance is low, because when the winter hits. So you're going to identify the savings goal next. What are you saving for? Let's not just put money in an account to look to say, hey, I got money. No, what are you actually saving for? And then she gets to the part in the chapter where she calls it the drop down and get your noodle on. And that's basically deciding how much can you actually live without, I should say. What's the lowest you could actually do? If you had to live on beans and rice or ramen noodles or crackers and cheese, what's the absolute low that you could live on so that you can maximize your savings? And then she talks about practicing mindful spending. Do you just want it? Do you need it? Do you just like it, or do you love it? Because we all know the likelihood of us touching something in a store means that it's going to go home with us. So let's just look with our eyes and not with our hands, right? And then lastly, you want to set up and automate. Savings has to be treated like a bill. You need to pay yourself. If you do not take your savings off the top, more than likely, you will end up spending it. So pay yourself. It's for your future self. Your savings is for your future self. Next, 30% whole. This is the chapter where we talk about digging out of debt. I just graduated from college in 2014, and I have all the student loans to prove. So this is definitely the part of my life where I'm stuck. But, with the pandemic, the payments have been deferred for a little while, but starting back in January, I will have to resume them. So I'm trying to figure out what's the best way to tackle this into January. Yes, I may qualify for the forgiveness plan because I'm a librarian, but how many payments do I need to pay? Because you have to pay 120 payments. And I'm like, 120 payments times $700 is like $1 million. What are you going to forgive? So for me, that may not be the best because I feel like I'm going to be paying debt forever. And the more I'm focused on paying this debt off for all of these years, what am I actually going to be saving? How am I going to be investing into my later self? So like I said, we all know that debt doesn't feel good. However, being debt-free is not the goal. Once I pay off these school loans, what next? Am I just going to look at the savings and just say, ooh, I saved some money? No, the goal is to reduce it, get rid of it, so that more funds can be contributed to growing my wealth. The plan, to identify the best plan for you to pay debt down and automate the process. You'll continually hear me say, automate the process. It is something that is crucial because your feelings will get involved if every month you have to transfer over your savings. Now, I have automated for my daughters to receive money into their college fund. Every first of the month, I get a text message that says money has been transferred into my daughter's savings accounts. I don't have to do anything. I don't have to log into the bank account. I don't have to get emotional about it and say, oh, how much am I going to give my daughters this month? It just automatically comes out, and I'm just working with the balance. So automate, automate, automate is definitely the answer. It's not always comfortable to know that bills are going to be automated. Like my cell phone bill is automated every month. It just comes out. It just comes out, and then I don't have to deal with it. So what does paying off debt look like? First, you want to identify your debt. Yeah, that's where the paper and the pencil comes out, and you're writing credit card debt. You're talking about your mortgage. You're talking about your car loan. You're talking about even personal loans. You may owe your sister, $50 or $100, or some other family member. You need to identify those debts because those are your debts. And then you want to restructure your debt and decide how you're going to pay that down, and then once again, you're going to automate the pay down. If I know that I want to be debt-free in 2025, hint, hint, I do, then I need to decide how many payments it's going to be to get to that amount. It's a very ugly number, and I'm going to tell you that right now, but I'm prepared to do that because I do want to be debt-free by 2025, okay? All right. Step 4, which is 40% whole. Here we talk about building your credit score. Good credit is ideal. It gives you the opportunity to own a home, get better finance rates, or even sometimes jobs will look at your credit score and determine whether or not they want to hire you. So growing your credit score is very beneficial. The plan is to grow your FICO credit score to about a 740 or higher by addressing the 5 factors that make up this score. And here are the 5 factors. You want to check your payment history, reduce your amounts owed and improve credit utilization, protect your credit inquiries, build the length of your credit history, hack your age, manage your credit, and lastly, I don't know if you all know this or not, but you're entitled to a free credit report every single year from annualcreditreport.com. Be very leery, though, of other websites that are trying to scam you. They will tease you and say, oh, look at this, and then they'll charge you something. But annualcreditreport.com will give you a free credit score once a year. So I try to do mine usually in January, and I just set it on the calendar to remind me to check my annual credit report because you never know if people have stolen your identity or if there's things on your report that do not belong. So it's good to always be checking for that, okay? All right, we're halfway through. How we doing? Everybody learning something? Excellent. Am I loud enough? Excellent. Okay. So step 5 is 50% whole. This is where we learn to earn, where we need to make more money. Increasing our take-home pay is a great way to get good with money. Do it with great intention, and the benefits will follow. The plan is to learn how to increase your pay and or have more than one source of income. So for me, one of the things that I like to do to make more money is I like to sell things online. I like to go sell them on eBay or Facebook Marketplace or Poshmark. These are all sites that are on the internet that allow you to sell things for money. At one point in time, and it got completely out of control, when me and my husband would go out of town to travel, we would always go to the antiques and the thrift stores, and we would always scout out things that had a higher value, and then we'd resell them online. But sometimes those things take a while to move, so it becomes clutter. So I decided, let's work on what we have right now instead of continuing to buy things, because it's the hunt that keeps you going. You're like, oh my gosh, I just found this, and it's worth this. Well, it's not really worth that unless you actually sell it. So you just kind of bought it, and it's sitting in your house. So, find definite ways to find extra money, because those things do help. It'll maximize your earning potential at work. Assess your skills, decide which of these skills you can monetize, and put a number on it. What's the income potential? So sometimes having a side hustle is not ideal for people, but maybe where you work, you can actually ask for a raise. But sometimes you work for agencies where the raises just come, like, for example, in July, which is for us, or there are step raises through the union, like the union will advocate for you to get a raise. So you may not work in a profession that allows you to actually get more money. So you may have to start doing some things on the side. Like I said, you want to focus on the skill set you have. Maybe you're very creative and you're very artsy and you can sell certain things on Etsy.com, or, you really love to do yard work, and, in the fall, there's a season for that. So those are ways to definitely maximize your income. So step 6 is 60% whole. And this is the chapter that's very overwhelming, but it definitely can be achievable. This is the chapter where she talks about investing like an insider, and it's for the purpose of retirement. We do have a lot of people that are day traders that are online, and they love the thrill of investing. But Tiffany suggests that you do things that will have a higher percentage of a return of rate. So she's asking you or suggesting that you focus on like your 401k, the things that are already in place like through your jobs and whatnot. And we'll talk about that on the next page. But the biggest benefit to investing is so you can have enough money to maintain your current lifestyle when you retire. To be successful at this, invest consistently. We all know that Social Security is not enough. When you retire, if that's all you have, it's sometimes just not enough. It's definitely at your benefit to have other sources of income besides Social Security, because the fact of the matter is that the cost of living is going up, but the rate of Social Security has not. I believe in the news over the last couple of days they've been talking about it's going to be increased, but most people that I know that are living solely on Social Security are struggling tremendously. It's just not enough. So retirement is looking like this. We're hoping to have invested in IRAs or 401ks or 403bs or Roth accounts. Determine how much you need for retirement. Decide where to put your money. Choose your investment mix asset allocations. Set up automation and limit your withdrawals and loans as much as possible. Tiffany also talks about putting your money in online accounts because they have higher interest rate. Your brick and mortar banks, they give you a piece of a piece of a piece of a piece of a penny. And I've noticed that within the last couple of years. I thought, oh my gosh, I'm saving so much money. And then I would look at my bank statement and it would be like 2 cents. I earned 2 cents on that. It was like a slap in the face. So I started to do some research, and even though the online bank that I have chosen to redirect my money, at least it was $2.50 instead of 2 cents. So I felt a little bit better, and as I know more and I earn more, then I'll figure things out. But I just knew that the traditional brick and mortar 2 cents a month was not doing it for me. All right, 70% whole. This is a chapter on insurance. This helps to manage risk. It's based on the what-if factor. This can be so hard to grasp. You absolutely do need insurance to manage the risk because life is just too unpredictable. This is a chapter where we determine your insurance needs and make a plan to meet those needs in 4 main categories. We need health insurance, we need life insurance, we need disability insurance, property, and casualty insurance. The do. So you need to get health insurance, explore life insurance, explore disability insurance, get property and casualty insurance. I will admit that I just got life insurance on myself like 2 years ago. I'm very proud of myself, but I'm 42 years old. My dad had a policy on me, and I just thought that that was fine enough. But then I realized I'm a whole parent. I need to be able to take care of my kids. Just in case something happens to me, I don't want to leave them with this tragedy. So I actually, I did the research, and now I have life insurance on myself, and it just feels so good. It feels like I'm being responsible, and that if something happens to me, that things will be okay for them. All right, step 8, 80% whole. Establish your net worth goals. These are your assets minus your liabilities, and it equals your net worth. It's not something that we talk about every day, but should consider. It's best to make decisions that will push you in the right direction. I actually calculated my net worth, and it's negative, so don't be surprised. These shoes are cute, but I'm in the negative. It's because of the school loans. It's definitely because of the school loans. And like I said, by 2025, if I reach a 0 net worth, I feel like I'm going to be on top of the world because the direction will be up from there. So your assets, get to know your net worth and calculate it. Accept your net worth for now. Mine's is negative. It's going up, but it is what it is right now. Establish your net worth goals and identify the steps you can take to meet it. Make future financial decisions with your net worth in mind. All right, we're almost there. Step 9, 90%. Pick your money team. This will be not very soon for me, but once that 2025 goal gets accomplished, then I can start doing some things, because once I'm debt-free, then I'm going to start to build my wealth. I'm going to start to be in the positive. I'm going to need to know what to do with the money. So this is where you get to let the pros take over. It is recommended that the team of advisors help you get there. Don't rush. Take your time and assemble a money team. The plan: to assemble a money team that will help you reach your financial goals. The do: you're going to need an accountability partner. This could be a friend or a family member, but someone that you can trust and somebody that will motivate you. Then you're going to need a certified financial planner, a certified financial advisor, a certified public accountant, an estate planner, and an insurance broker. And then last, we're going to be 100% because we want to leave a legacy. We want to do our estate planning. The last steps to becoming financially whole is to decide what type of legacy you want to leave behind. What will happen to the wealth that you build. This is a very, very sensitive subject. My grandfather passed away a couple years ago, and it got ugly. And there are a lot of families that have to deal with this because no one knows how it's going to be split, or people will fight over their share if it's not all the way laid out. I know it was like pulling teeth and nails for my grandfather to write a will, but I think he was finally able to do so. But it's definitely something that you should really focus on and get into place, because whatever it is that you want to leave behind should be allocated so that the stress doesn't have to take place. People shouldn't have to figure out what to do with you or what to do with your things. So building a legacy is extremely important. And this is how you're going to do it. You're going to fill out or check those beneficiary forms. If you have $2, how are those quarters going to be split? If you have to think about guardianship. Like I have minors right now. If something was to happen to me and they weren't going to go to their father, or if their father had already passed away, what's going to happen to those kids? Especially if you have special needs kids too, which I do. I have an older daughter with autism. Step 3, you're going to write a will. Step 4, deal with your advance directives, a living will, and a durable power of attorney. If you get sick, you become hospitalized, you're still alive, but decisions still need to be made for you. Who is making those decisions for you? Who? Think about the document your long-term care. Think about and document your long-term care plan. Long-term care is expensive, extremely expensive. And most people will opt not to stay in a nursing home because they A, can't afford it, or B, for cultural reasons. Step 6, set up a living trust. And 7, execute and fund these plans. Congratulations, you are 100% whole. Yay, you did it. So this is definitely a book that I will keep in my Audible, which is the audio book, and I will listen to it every day, because every time I listen to it, I learn something new, and I learn something that I can take action with. I have a lot of things to do, but I feel reassured that even doing this presentation, that I have an outline. I have a checklist. I have things that I need to accomplish. So it's just very exciting to be moving in a direction, because in my house, finances were not talked about, and they were not taught, and they were definitely not taught at school either. And a lot of the times I don't have anyone to talk about finances with. It's kind of just me figuring it out by myself. So it's a very lonely and isolating place to talk about finances. So I'm very thankful to be able to have shared this presentation with you all, because it gives me the opportunity to have spoken it out loud, and it's just another teachable moment. So I'll be quiet now. Does anybody have any questions? And make note, I am not a financial advisor, but I play one on TV. No, I'm just kidding.